My name is Archangelic, or Mal, and my pronouns are she, her. And tonight I'm going to be your game master. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. We'll start with you, Levi.
Hello, I am Levi. Now I will be playing Torsten Pinewalker, the Elf Armor Artificer. He they pronouns for both of us.
Silver.
Hi, everybody. I am Silver_Bulette here on Twitch as well as over on YouTube. I will be playing Fenxiris Roxalar, a rogue cleric who is also happens to be a dragonborn. She uses she, her pronouns. I use he, they pronouns.
And Jaden.
Hey friends, my name is Soliloquy Jaden. I use they them pronouns. You can find me most places online as FatSapphicBro. I play the tiefling barbarian named Grief. Grief uses he they pronouns and also uses a combat wheelchair. I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user, IRL, so I like to use that in game. The combat wheelchair is designed by Mark Thompson, who you can find on Twitter at the username Mustangs Art, and the info is linked in the chat. Welcome back to our space here at Lantern Light Adventures. This is home to all of our TTRPG and related content on Twitch. All of our games are also uploaded to our Lantern Light Adventures YouTube channel. There's a link to our link tree in the chat. You can click on that. It'll take you to all of our various social media pages, so you can follow us everywhere we are. If you want to keep up to date on everything we're doing, feel free to also join our Discord, which is linked in the chat. Thanks for joining us for Era of the Dragons, our D&D 5e actual play set in Mal's homebrew world. We stream this game most Sundays from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. PST. As for where you can find us the rest of the week, most Mondays from 6 to 9 p.m. PST, we stream It Waits for No One, a modern fantasy tale. This is our Monte Cook Games Cypher System actual play. We built the world collaboratively using I'm Sorry, Did You Say Street Magic, and that world building session has been uploaded as a Patreon exclusive and can be unlocked at any paid tier. And our paid tiers start at $1, so check that out if you're interested. Most Tuesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. PST, we stream An Empty Dream. That's our Girl by Moonlight actual play. We also record an audio cast after show for each of our games where we go over any necessary advancement steps and debrief from the game. You can listen to these for free on Patreon at patreon.com/lanternlightadventures. All of our after shows will always be free, but we appreciate any contributions and support as it helps us continue to bring you awesome queer content. Just as a reminder, each month we take the last 7 days of the month off so we can edit and prepare more content for y'all, as well as have a bit of a break to handle our day-to-day responsibilities. And finally, in support of a free Palestine, we'll be sharing the GoFundMes for various families. The first family we are trying to help out is the Masood family. Dahlia and her husband Rami and their 4 children are in great need. Dahlia and Rami worked as pharmacists, but they have since lost their home and their pharmacy. Their goal is currently set at 50,000 euros, and they have raised 39,574 euros as of this afternoon. Any help and support that you can offer would be amazing. Their GoFundMe is linked in the chat and on our link tree. Thanks so much, friends.
Thank you so much for those announcements. So, last we left our heroes, rumors abound around Winter's Keep about dragons and the fortress you crashed into the mountainside. You began to gather information a little bit at a time from a handful of denizens of Winter's Keep and were approached by the high priestess Camille, a worshiper of Agalis, the goddess of the night. She told you that she believed that Counselor Dirk was keeping Awitdir, the custodian of Winter's Keep, from fulfilling his duties as leader of Northern Reach. And though she seemed regretful of saying it, she insinuated that it would be better if Dirk did not return with Awitdir. You decided to make good with the custodian, Awitdir, and offered your services as personal protection on his trip back to Iceport. As he has been summoned for yet another meeting to discuss the restoration and their activities. It's now morning, and you are in the process of loading up his rather large sleigh to begin this long journey. So yeah, you are still gathering things. It's very early morning. The light is just coming up over the horizon. What dear will he looks around, he says, anything everyone have everything they need? Everything? Are you good? Do you have? Well, we're gonna eat some rations on the road, and also do some light hunting if you're okay with like small game.
Yeah, that's
And you have
fine with me.
none of you vegetarians.
Uh,
Cool,
Nope.
because we
Nope.
don't have vegetables right now. Oh, that's a lie. I do have one jar of pickles, but that probably won't make it for you to Iceport.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Meat and potatoes it is. Sounds good.
Don't have potatoes. Very
Oh.
sorry. I do
Meat
have bread.
and meat it is.
You can see that like as Awadir is talking about the rations and the accommodations on the road, that Derek seems annoyed. But he is also preparing to go. As you're gathering up, you see that the High Priestess Camille and a small handful of her followers, just other townsfolk, are approaching you. She approaches you and she says, I heard that you were leaving this morning, and I wanted to offer all of you a small blessing and safe passage on the road to wherever you may be headed. And she pulls one of the other people with her, pull like this gauzy kind of a fabric. It looks like they're like scarves, and they're dyed with the purples and greens that are indicative of her faith. And she hands you each one. And she actually wraps the one around Awadir and says, our good leader especially needs the guidance of the gods.
We appreciate your blessing. We will do all we can, and hopefully we can carry your deity's blessing far.
Torsten will like look to Fen and like just kind of awkwardly like nod. That's like, yeah. What she said.
She says, I appreciate you. Your only responsibility is to be safe.
Do our best.
And she says, I will delay you no further.
And we did long rest. Did I? I don't remember if I don't have any like exhaustion points or anything yet.
No, you do not.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Any exhaustion points yet? Interesting way to phrase that.
Yeah,
As of the second.
Brief's not been sleeping well.
It really has
Oh,
not.
I know. Fen
It's
doesn't.
only a matter of time.
Although
Ominous.
I imagine you've guessed something is up. Grief has been up before you several times now. So
Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fen probably
Um,
sleeps a little too well for somebody that's adventuring and on such a dangerous quest as we are.
Fair. You know, we all cope in our own ways.
Yeah.
yeah, so you continue. So yeah, everything gets gathered in. It seems that only you three, Dirk and Alwadir, are going to go on this trip. They were going to have their own attendants come, but you offered your services and you will probably survive better, in Dirk's estimation. So yeah, you all get loaded up onto this sleigh, and it's rather nice. The seats are plush. They must be full. They must be stuffed with like expensive wool or down or something. Very atypical for most of the carts you've been in. And Whittier takes the reins and gets the horses moving, and you are off. You begin to take a slightly different route than Bear took you here. It seems that there are some, although everything is snowed and iced over, there are trails that go into more of the lowlands of this region. And that seems to be the path that Awadir prefers. He is taking you through down where there's more trees. There's a little bit of more of a rocky landscape down here lower. But yeah, a little bit different. Bear preferred the ridges and where there were less like wild animals. Awadir seems to not fear that as much.
I mean, we down here because when we came up, I don't know if we told you this yet, but we ran into a rather large worm on our way up on those ridges over there. Is that is this area safer from that sort of thing?
No shit. Like one that like its blood like melts ice and stuff.
Yeah, that was the kind of creature. Yeah.
Well, yes, they don't come down this far. They prefer where it stays icier more year round. But I've never seen one before and super jealous. You killed it? Did you kill it?
You know, I think we were close. It ran away. It got scared of us, and those things are quick.
You gotta pursue that kill for the trophy. Well, I guess you're not hunters. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it you do as you're just continuing along?
You know, we pursue leads on various things with the easiest way to put it is we're kind of tax collectors.
Tax collect for whom?
Well, you know, you remember where you met us, right? Brambles upon the river.
Yeah, you were the entourage for the spokesperson for the Druid Grove. I didn't know that they were big tax people.
Well, that was just part of it. We've had dealings with the Druids as well. But in this case, Brambles upon the river wanted us to track down the stolen goods, and so we were pursuing a lead. So, you know, taxes on stolen goods. So, tax collectors.
Okay. I see it. Yeah, all right. Maybe Dirk, write that down. We need tax collectors. And Dirk full on ignores him. He says, "Yes, sire," and does nothing as he is Dirk has like bundled himself up. He's a bit of an older man and like is clearly like freezing. And has like is just fully bundled up and has no intentions of opening his overcoat anytime soon. But Awadir never looks back to even check. He just yells an order and expects it to be done.
Good leadership.
Like a good leader, delegate.
But yeah, I mean, like, as you could, we're more than just tax collectors, but like that's the easiest way to phrase it. I will also say we've gone on some wild times. We were actually cheesemongers for a hot minute.
Cheesemongers? Anything I've heard of? I mean, I've had some good cheeses down in. I don't know. Most of the good cheese is out in Crescent.
Well, we were cheesemongers for one specific person who's been well, I mean, listen, he's pretty underground, so you may not have heard of this product, if we're being honest, but it's some of the best. Uh, it, uh, and if I can think of the merchant's name, as in Fenxiris, she will
Oh,
totally say the merchant's name.
Corian.
Corian. Yeah.
Corian. I haven't heard of it. You said underground? Like, do you mean that?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a wild situation. We would listen, you're gonna love this. We were chasing down a werebear, and we were on this cart, and the track broke. So like half of our party is thinking, oh no, we're gonna die as we fell into this just pit. And instead, something happened to the air around us, and it caught us. And it was. Are you familiar with the spell Featherfall? Have you ever seen a wizard use that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. It's just basically you're going half as fast as you should towards the ground at any one point, and yeah, we landed amongst a bunch of cows, and we met this one gentleman who makes cheeses down there in the underground, and oh, by the way, these cows they had glowing dandruff. It was amazing. And leaving out the part that we dealt with a demon, Fenxiris is just going to talk about what happened down there.
Real nice.
As
guy.
this continues, as continues, Torsten, who draw the short statue sitting next to Dirk, will like raise a gauntleted hand. I don't believe her either. As the wind rushes.
Dirk, make a persuasion check here.
Let's see here. My persuasion's okay. That's an 8.
Dirk just like turns to you and just says, uh-huh. And just doesn't really respond or doesn't seem to believe that you don't believe the story. It's just like
just funny because Torsten doesn't. Last I checked.
Yeah, Torsten rationalizes that to himself. It's like, oh, he's older, fighting against the cold. He's kind of like in his own mind. It's like, oh, he didn't listen to me, as opposed to he totally believes that I buy this.
that is exactly the vibe you get. This man is just not listening to you. He's nodding and saying, uh-huh.
Torsten thinks Grief and Fen just got really wasted or something and had like a joint hallucinatory experience. You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll meet him one day.
Uh-huh.
We don't all die.
I'll have to be on the lookout for this cheese. You said it's really good?
Oh
Incredible.
yeah, it was some of the best I've ever tasted. Now, I mean, I'm not a great world traveler. Up in the mountains, all we really have is like oh gosh, what is the common for that? It's cheddar, I think was what the common phrase for it. But yeah, we always said it in Draconic to make it sound fancier, but it wasn't. It was cheddar.
My tribe, they raise yaks. So they didn't really make cheese with it though. More fermented it. Delicious drink.
Ah, okay.
Should definitely try it sometime. I haven't been back in a while, but when I get back, I'll make sure to get some to you somehow.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
He looks he as he's talking about the yaks and the fermented milk, he gets a little bit of a wistful look. He says, Yeah, it's I got this job and I haven't really had time to be back. I've had to travel so much. Uh,
Yeah.
I wasn't even able to, I had to cut my hunting short, and it's an important part of keeping myself, maintaining my warrior prowess is a huge part of what I was supposed to be doing, but
Hmm.
being a leader is not being a warrior.
Hmm. Well, I I mean, I will say, ideally, yeah. I've known some leaders that are great warriors, and that's usually not the greatest society to be part of.
No, no. It's there's a strict division, at least in my people, between warriors and leaders.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. It keeps order and it keeps the cycle going.
Yep.
I don't envy you. My experience, warrior's the easier job.
It really is.
It's going to be point at a thing. Just take the objective, handle the problem. No minimal decision making.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and gathering food was a big part of what we did when we weren't defending ourselves.
yeah. And so you mentioned your tribe. How far did you have to travel? I mean, I'm assuming because you were part of the North Reach, it's nearby-ish, yeah? Have you gotten a chance? You haven't gotten a chance to return?
Well, my people don't, there's not one place they stay.
Oh,
They move throughout as the year goes through, and I'm stuck in one place all year long.
yeah. That makes sense.
We They would travel down to Iceport in the summers and gather fish and prepare it, and in preparation for winter we would do our warm weather things there. We would let the cows graze and let the yaks graze and have their young, and in the winter we would travel different places looking for whatever food we could. The warriors would go up into the mountains, hunt elk.
Hmm.
But it's not the same. Not every group in Northern Reach appreciates the nomadic life.
Yeah, but I mean, that's probably just about the most sensible life in a climate like this.
Yeah,
You kind
they
of have to travel to keep up with what's available.
and the more things get tense, the more people want borders and draw lines, and it restricts where we can go. And I'd had hoped that maybe we could come to some accord, but the more I speak with the different groups here, the the Goliath of Iceport have different needs and wants than the dwarves that live in the mountains, than the draconian principalities have forbade us from some of their mountains in recent years.
Huh. Interesting. I guess I'm not entirely surprised by that, but I didn't know that was going on. Hmm.
Yeah. Things
Um,
are changing in the world, and I don't know if it's for the better.
yeah. I mean, I guess when there are distinct lines, maybe your tribe could serve as a nice go-between, if you get my meaning. Of like, if there was a specific deal they had with every group to be able to bring goods and services back and forth as they migrate in return for going through borders like that.
He thinks to himself, he's like, I had never even thought about that. That's a good idea. Well, I guess once we're done, I mean, kind of what's on everyone's mind is all these dragons around.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even mention that. Oh man, did I mention the red dragon that popped out while we were trying to get up this one mountain? Oh,
a red dragon?
yeah.
Which one's that? Is that the one that like breathes poisonous gas and like puts you to sleep, or?
Oh no. This one like popped out of lava and was breathing fire at us.
They can swim in lava?
This one could. It was something.
No one told me they could swim in lava. I have to be afraid of a whole new terrain now.
Well, I mean, like, honestly though, like, I have you, if you've ever never dealt with lava before, you should be afraid of lava no matter what. I'm gonna be honest here.
He's like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, I've never been near lava. I should probably be afraid of lava, right? It's really hot.
Yeah, best to avoid it.
I was gonna ask. I was worried that you're already getting any volcanoes up here, but it seems like nothing yet.
Sometimes mountains will shake and rumble, but that's normal.
So,
once the dragon situation's handled, kind of get any settlements further out, at least.
Yeah. So we've heard a bit about Awit, but while we're on this journey, we should learn about each other. Dirk, where do you hail from?
I'm originally from Ravenswood. My father was a fur trapper. We moved here when I was young, and I've been here ever since. Except for the brief time where I studied diplomacy in Vosna.
Oh. Vosna, I've heard good things about Vosna. Warmer climate for sure. How long did you spend there?
It was 5 long years of my youth.
I'm gonna guess you weren't the party type back there during school.
I was not afraid of a glass of wine.
Oh, all right. What was this? What was your drink of choice back in the day? What type of wine, I mean?
My favorite wine was what the elves called a black wine, but very expensive, very and only certain vintages really were delicious. But I was a young apprentice and I was not paid very much, so usually whatever wine was available at the local tavern would have sufficed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Usually a honey wine. It always tasted of vinegar, but it got the job done.
Yeah, that's the important part. Any college sweethearts back in the day?
Many a suitor. I had dalliances here and there. Make a quick persuasion check. You're trying to thaw this man who is really over you.
I mean, that's fair. Hang on real quick. That is a not
journey
good.
just
Oh, that's a
began.
7.
You can't be over us already.
I would like to use Flasher's Genius to make that a 12 question mark.
What an excellent use.
7 plus 4, 11.
11. Okay. I say 11. He says, maybe there was a little bit more than a dalliance here and there. Never could pass up a young elven fellow.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
Although young is such a weird concept for them. I was going to school with people who were over 100 years old.
Weird time to ask this, but Counselor Dirk is he human?
He is human.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems to be fully human. He's like in his 60s.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, the language to navigate that sort of thing. Even if growing up with it, you never get used to it.
Yeah, it's I guess it's all a matter of your long-term perspective. But
did you? I mean, college might have been a few seasons past, but do you keep up with any of your friends from back then?
Here and there, I learned from one of the best diplomats that the realms has known. In fact, I believe he still serves as a diplomat. Romaris Latharan.
What? I think what? Oh, it wasn't Ramirez at the council meeting with us.
Yeah, he was. He was representing. He was representing the elves. I mean, that's kind of what he does, right?
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, yes. I imagine, despite it being 50 years, that's not long enough for him to have retired. So, I imagine he would still be doing that, acting as an ambassador.
That makes sense. I mean, it's been, you said 50 years, so I mean, you're still
40,
you're still
50,
working.
It's somewhere in there. But
well, Dirk, thanks for opening up. We appreciate it.
of course, and he like pulls it like his robes more, and just like he's shivering slightly.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get back to the warmer climates. Like I don't feel too bad in my coat right now, but boy, howdy, I'd like to not have to wear a coat at all times. That'd be great.
Agreed.
You notice that Awadir has like taken off his overcoat at this point and is wearing just like he still has like a leather and fur like vest that he has on, but he's definitely like starting to shed layers as the sun is kind of beating on you today. He does not seem to mind the cold even a little bit.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that'd be great if I felt okay with this. I am impressed by you. Yeah.
My mother said I was born on the coldest day of winter. And it's never bothered me since.
I know the type. Fenxiris, turnabout is fair play. I apologize. We've worked together for a bit. Where are you from?
Well, that's a fair question. I'm up from up in the mountains. The name of the particular town is I don't know if we have a word for it in common. Because we are so remote, and apparently I didn't know about this, but apparently we don't like outsiders. That's news to me, but also fully tracks. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't notice it as a child. Anyway, I grew up as a family eight. Had a few brothers and sisters, and uh, my parents were both archaeologists. There was we in particular had there was a mountain that had collapsed that had in it an old dragon's hoard. So that was a big dig site for us. My parents found a lot of things. Actually, this neat bag here that actually came from that mountain. I think my mom found this. It's been a few years now. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah. So they were always dug there, and when I got to age, I started working at a museum. Uh, yeah, and we had a few various things, mostly from the Dragon Horde, if I'm being honest. But we had some fascinating pieces of history of why we lived up there to begin with. Uh, Mostly our focus was on hunting and gathering, but if you weren't a hunter or a gatherer, you were pretty much an archaeologist.
Hmm.
You know how
Noble,
dragon's hordes are and all that.
noble work despite its more flowery purpose.
Yeah, but the reason I left was I was trying to find my brother. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I was my brother went again, family of archaeologists. He heard about this one weird legend that we've always had about this one city that was going to be founded by a group of 100 dragonborn, uh, and they left our mountain centuries ago, and he wanted to go find it, and we never heard from him. So, kind of out in the world trying to find him.
Noble efforts, noble efforts. Grief, have you heard of this?
GM, would I have?
Make a history check.
What do I know? Not a lot. 15.
15. I don't. There's no way you've heard of this. Well, and you just this is more of like a dragonborn urban legend at this point. And yeah, you don't really know anything.
Nope, not doesn't jog a memory at all.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, as something of an archaeologist myself, I am interested in finding this lost city and all that. But no, mainly I just want to find my brother.
Has anyone else gone looking for him?
No, I mean, again, we were a big family, and they just kind of figured he went off and decided not to come back. There was a bit of falling out between my parents and him. They've never been big believers in. It was grandma. Grandma told us about this story. She was big on that. And mom and dad never really thought that made any sense. The story just didn't track with what with the history as far as they knew it. So when he said he was going off to find this city that they didn't even believe existed, they were like, "No, you don't leave." And there was a fight, and he was gone before sunrise the next day.
What a shame. Thank you, friend, for taking the curveball that such a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abwadir says, "Oh, we're all talking about where we're from. You with the horns. Sorry, I don't know. I don't remember your name. I know you told me it.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm Grief.
Grief. Okay. Where are you from?
I've lived in Lower Arduous in the foothills of the Kalian mountains.
Well, that's pretty far south. The hunters there are world renowned, though. In fact, I think one of the ladies who represented Kalia is their leader is the Huntress.
How much would I know about that?
Probably not a lot. Being in the foothills,
I don't know. Thanks.
no, the people the people of Kalia are like really spread out, and they mostly live like up in the mountains. But you lived in the foothills, and you just like kind of your town is just in this like quasi territory. So you're like your town probably Lower Arduous is not really involved in politics.
Yeah, the town I'm from is a little smaller, not as involved with the bigger picture there.
Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, a lot of me misses a simpler way of living.
I very much relate. It seems we've got one weird world-ending thing after another these days. Not exactly how I envisioned life for myself.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I know the like we saw some things up here, but how much have you all heard about things going on south of us?
That Awadir says that's kind of Dirk's thing. Dirk says, well, last we heard word, no one had heard from the king of Southern Reach. It's assumed that his daughter, the crown princess Ursula, has taken over. Her fiance is missing after the battle of Zarkan. But so it's a question if she can even ascend to the throne without being married. But the entire region is under the governance of the lead general of the Voston army.
We have heard that Voston forces were moving south. It's good to know that we weren't simply catastrophizing, I think the word is.
I don't know much about the troop movements, but yes, that is what I had also heard. It seems that as more regions fall to prey to attacks from dragons, that law and order is breaking down, and the elves are stepping in to seize law to make sure that everything is working orderly and that a concerted effort against the dragons is being made.
a positive spin. Thank you, counselor.
It's simply what I've heard.
For sure. Speaking of elven cities and the like, what port are we? No, we're not. We're traveling by land, aren't we?
Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, Stephen had a brain fault. I forgot.
Yeah.
You are heading to a port where you will then
Yes.
get on a ship, but
Okay,
you are
we are.
traveling
Okay,
by
we're
land.
heading to a port. All right.
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
port will we be landing in? We actually our journey took us from an elven port out here originally. So I'm curious if we are heading back there or if it's elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll sail south from Iceport, and we will be docking. We might have to make a stop along the way, but we should be able to. Our final destination will be the docks in Versailles, which is the capital of the Elven Kingdom or the
Yes.
Elven Republic. So,
Yeah, I think that's pretty sure that's where we headed out from.
y'all went from a port just slightly north, but
Gotcha.
y'all went from a port in Galathsay, I think. So
That sounds right. Yeah. Dirk, you mentioned that the elves trying to help out. We actually we came across a large army heading to Southreach. It's kind of what when we heard about the Zarkan getting attacked in the first place. It's this group was massive. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because I think they said there were 2 or more dragons that attacked the city, which, yeah, just a handful of anyone is not going to really take down.
Edward Deer says, I mean, yeah, even 2 dragons. I mean, a single dragon can wipe out an army. So I imagine if they're keeping dragons at bay, they must have a lot of people at their. They must have a lot of people they can muster.
Yeah.
Boston's really showing themselves to be kind of a dark horse in this situation.
Yeah.
Very impressive that they could improvise having a large sitting army on such short notice.
Yeah. I mean, if I was asked to get troops, I could. How many do you think we could muster up, Dirk? Dirk thinks to himself for a second. He says, last I looked, we could maybe conscript 100, 150. We don't have treaties with most of the affiliated groups of Northern Reach. Everyone would have to send their own troops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how the elves handle it, but I know that in my city at least, there's a policy in place of like once you reach a certain age, everyone has to serve as a city guard for 5 years. So we all had training on that. So if push games to shove for our city, it would pretty much everyone that was young enough to hold a sword steady would be ready to go.
Even accounting for population, any nation's army holding off 2 or more dragons, that's certainly a stroke of luck, so to speak.
It absolutely is. Awudir seems genuinely afraid of the idea of like leading an army against dragons. As this conversation, you see that he is filled with dread, even thinking about this conversation.
If Torsten could catch Fen's eye, he'll just like kind of resting his head, like if you think like railing of the sleigh, elbow, and then head resting on head resting on hand. Torsten's just gonna dink dink dink, kind of just to his temple.
Hang on. Just gonna roll here real quick. That's pretty good. That's the best roll I've had all night. Hang on. Yeah, it's a 16 perception check. GM, that sounds like something I'd notice, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So yep, popping in the conversation. I'll get Grief in there too, and just and get hidden party member. Our lovely cleric Elric.
Yeah, Elric didn't sit up front with you. Elric is laying down with the cargo, like, and so he's just like kept out of this conversation.
Fair enough. Yeah. What's going on, Torsten?
I'm starting to get the theory if Addie's right that Ramirez might have gotten tipped off if he somehow knows where the dragons will be, and that the dragons are working with him, so that perhaps the dragons and Vasta are working together, and Ramirez somehow factors into it.
Yeah, I get the feeling that Dirk seems more like he's just being fed propaganda that he is willing to accept than that he's specifically purposefully working with terrible entities. That said, I am trying to if we could all just keep pushing the angle of it's very cold out here, I think we might just convince Counselor Dirk that staying in the North Reach is not the greatest idea.
Good call. What's the phrase? Catching flies with sugar.
Yeah. Especially, hey, I mean, like, he seems to believe the propaganda that that the elves are protecting the rest of the world. So he has a connection to Vasna. He's lived there. He knows Ramirez, so sure, why not? And I don't think Dirk is much of a fighter. Maybe he's sneaky, but I don't know how much actual power he has. So if we put him into Ramirez's corner, I don't know how much that will add to Ramirez's power.
And his political savviness seems moderate at best. He wouldn't be a huge help to him.
No, he's more good at stealing money than, accruing actual power.
Okay, we've got our angle. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check on Elric and then make sure he's feeling well. And I'll probably I need to rest my eyes for a little bit too. It's So snow blindness is terrible out here.
Yeah.
If y'all keep a safe eye out, I'll be
Yeah,
in the
no
back.
problem.
Yeah, Elric is just he just has like his helmet like over his face, and it's like just catching a few Z's, and he's like but he hears you come over, and he's like, I heard, he says in your head, like, I heard everything.
Oh, okay. All right. You feeling okay, dude?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
You never miss a chance to take a nap.
That's fair. That is entirely fair. I'm not particularly feeling sleepy myself right now, but you know what? It's all this snow out there is hurting my eyes with a nice day. So I'm gonna hang back here with you for a little while, if you don't mind.
He pats like beside him, and he says, yeah, lay down.
Oh, thanks.
It
It turns out Fenxiris curls up kind of like a dog.
Yeah, you kind of pull the
Adorable.
tarp into your into this like curled up, your tails like all curled in. Yeah. Y'all travel like this throughout most of the day. Eventually you do have to find a place to camp for the night. Atwood Deer seems to have a good idea of the itinerary though, and you have been going along the banks of a river that is almost completely frozen over, but there are places in the river where the flow of the river has broken up some of this ice, so it kind of flows, but you see the remnants of what looks like it maybe was an old lookout point or something. It's stone construction. It's kind of built out over there's 3 platforms, one lower, one that goes up higher, just kind of medium level, and then one that's higher up. It seems to be a lookout that goes over this river, but it's all frozen over right now. But he stomps the sleigh. He and immediately begins to unload these rolled tarps and poles and everything that he has packed. And he begins to go on that kind of median layer. And there are walls. Like this place looks like it was fortified as well. But it's kind of an open space. And he begins putting these tarps over the wall to create kind of a, to use this structure as kind of a shelter, and begins to, but he leaves like everything's covered, so you're not going to get snowed on, but the middle, and he leaves that open so he can build a fire in the middle as he sets up if you want to help him, you can, but he seems to know how to do, like, he seems to be in like this rote memorization of how to do this kind of thing, how to set up this kind of shelter.
Fenxiris will just get things out for preparing food. Pots, pans, spices that we have on the journey.
He says, do you know how to set up a small game trap?
I don't have that experience, but Grief, have you set up a small game trap?
Feel like probably yes.
He says, I got some like old moldy bread and stuff in the back. You're welcome to set up traps, and maybe we'll catch breakfast while we sleep.
Good.
But Atwood Deer builds a fire. Dirk immediately just sits in front of it underneath these tarp canopy, and which holds the heat from this fire so well, and just warms himself up. Who is let's get watches. Who's taking first watch?
I'm good too. Oh, unless somebody like really wants to.
I was gonna say, like, maybe Fen goes first just because she was resting in the back of the cart.
Fair.
Yeah, I
Right.
think Fen and Elric. Yeah, I think y'all take first watch. So, Atwood Deer will opt to take the second watch if anyone wants to take it with him.
If Dirk is like staying awake or plans on getting up early, Torsten is actually kind of inclined to watch with him.
Yeah, Dirk says I will be resting early and waking early. I prefer to take the last watch when possible. You're all welcome to take it with me.
All right. I'm going to do second then.
All right. And as you bed down for the night, that's where we're going to go ahead and take our break. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. We hope to see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Last we left our heroes, you were still on your journey with the custodian of Winter's Keep and his counselor, on the way to Iceport, traveling by land. And you have bedded down in what looks to be the remains of some sort of small fortification. Awadir seems very familiar with this area and has set up camp here to keep you warm for the night, cleverly using the tarps and the existing structure to hold in the heat of your fire. So you're I believe Fen, you said you are taking first watch.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Yeah, it's
Also,
pretty typical of Fen. That's an 11.
An 11? Okay. That's not too bad. I mean, nothing really happens. You hear steadily through the night the sound of ice cracking on the river. It kind of reverberates through this area. Everything is so quiet here because of the snow. But if it wasn't for the constant sound of the river, it would be dead silent through here. But it is a cold and clear night. You have an uneventful watch.
All right. I wake up, Grief and what dear was the yeah, it was Grief and Owen. So I wake him up and say, I did hear the river partially cracking during my watch. I don't know if that's typical of this temperature. It's hard for me to tell if we're below freezing or above freezing or what the deal is right now. I'm just cold, so.
Yeah, Awadir will say the river is going to be one of the last things to freeze over. We're still pretty early in the season for it to be totally frozen. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so that typical noise then. Good.
Yeah, that's a normal noise.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night. Do I need to roll anything for setting out traps or?
Oh, roll a quick survival check.
14.
14. Okay. We'll probably resolve that in the morning, but you think you do a pretty good job of finding, you look for tracks and trails of small game, and you hope to catch something, and you're pretty confident you will, but hunting is a gamble always.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll me perception check.
Uh, 12.
12. Okay. As you take your watch, you notice that, well, it's mostly quiet through the night, very similar to Fen's experience, Fen and Elric, who stay up through the night. But at some point, you notice that Dirk starts to stir, and he gets up. He kind of bundles himself up a little, just in like the blanket. He doesn't like put on his overcoat and everything. He starts to shuffle away from the camp a little bit.
I think I'm just gonna keep an eye. I mean, he might, need to just find a tree.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely looks like what he's trying to do, but you watch him and he comes. So there's stairs going down these levels. There's a lower level. He walks down and he walks down off that lower level onto the ground. But you notice he doesn't keep walking past that point, and he's now hidden by the lower wall of this fortification.
I think I'll tell dear, I'll be right back. And I'm just gonna attempt to quietly follow.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
19.
Okay. You find all the spots on this fortification where the snow and ice has not formed, so that you can kind of quietly make your way down, and you are over this wall, and you hear Dirk talking to someone. What languages do you speak?
Common, deep speech, goblin, and infernal.
Okay. You're going to hear
helpful.
this. You're going to hear this. And I'm going to say the words normally. But just know that Grief doesn't understand half this conversation. You hear Dirk whispering to himself. He says, "I did as you asked. I've brought them along with me. It was not easy to convince them that I didn't want them to come. What would you have me do? We are on our way towards you. I can deliver them as soon as we dock." And Grief, you hear this like screeching, crunching sound. It does not sound like words. But what you don't hear: "You have done well. But the interlopers and the fool have served their purpose. Kill them all." He says, I'm an old man. I couldn't possibly do that. I'm much too weak. Surely there's another way. I can misdirect them. I can feed them falsehoods." That screeching sound comes back. You're right. You are very right, Dirk. Your flesh is weak, so you must forfeit your flesh. You will only serve me. And you hear him begin to choke and cough, and you hear him hit the ground.
I'm gonna go over to him immediately.
He is huddled over. The blanket has fallen away from him. His arms are clawing, his hands are clawing into the ground, larger than they were before. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna yell for Outdeer. Get the rest of the party.
As you yell, horns sprout from Dark's head. He grows larger and larger. Massive wings sprout from his back. His skin turns from that pale color into this red, deep blood red color. His face turns up. It has become that of a bull, but inside the mouth there is not flesh, there is fire. He grows massive. The ground below him glows and reeks of sulfur. He pulls a whip and a sword that crackles with lightning along the ground. And he turns to you as you have yelled, and he says, "You will all serve that which desires. I am the harbinger of his will. I am that whose flesh is forfeit." And we are going to go into combat. Let's move us into combat here. I will move some things down here. Grief, you
Now, what was just said just now, that I understood?
That you understood. That you did not understand it. The words you heard out loud was that same screeching, that same abyssal tongue, but you heard it so clear like a bell in your mind.
Fun.
So we begin combat. And Awadir was awoken. He says he doesn't know what's going on quite yet, but he heard you shout, and he just hastily kind of kicks at your where you're sleeping, both of you. He'll come across and just wake each of you.
No, what?
And he will come down the stairs here. He says, "Something's wrong." Grief shouted. And he comes out from under the tarps, and he sees this massive creature, which from this perspective has half cover for him. He says, "Grief, what is that?"
Well, it was Dirk. Does it seem like it's like Dirk is no longer with us, or is this like a temporary possession sort of situation?
You can make a religion check.
Okay. It's only an 11.
That's only an 11. Okay. You do not know, but you know this is a demon.
Dirk turned into a demon. That's the best I got.
Awadir is going to pull a very ornate bow that he had wrapped up. And he is going to pull an arrow from the quiver on his side. And he is going to try and launch a couple arrows at this thing. He has +5 to hit. This thing has an AC of 19. He does not succeed on the first hit. He's going to try again.
For those who only listen and can't see the screen, I just want everyone to know that Dirk's token is titled Dirk Whose Flesh is Forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Both of these arrows simply just land in the skin of this creature, not affecting it at all. It does not cease to move towards you, Grief. As Awadir lobs 2 arrows the best he can, and he's not a bad shot by any means. He is a skilled hunter, but it just doesn't seem to get through this creature. Grief.
Fantastic.
It is your turn. This thing has an aura of fire, and you are within 5 feet of it. So I need you to make a creature that... Nope, you just take damage right off the top.
Oh. Fantastic.
At the start of the... Oh, no, at the start of each of the Balor's turns. I misread that. So, but you can feel the heat just pushing off of this oppressive, hellish fire.
You said the word Valor, and as a player, jeez. Okay. Well, first of all, let's rage.
All right.
That's a 10 on the die.
A 10 on the die. That was the D100, the D20
D20.
roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Magic table.
The unicorn is back.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay, perfect.
Would you like to put him?
Eh, close enough to hit is going to be within the fire aura, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, put him just outside the fire aura because then he can move as he needs to.
Okay. This you rage, the magic crackles, that same kind of light, almost the same kind of lightning that you see crackling off the sword. Your body begins to echo it. The plate on your chest just crackles energy and it rips open a rift. And first comes the horn and then the rest of the unicorn. And he says, "Hey, how then did the badge? Holy shit, what the hell is that?"
It was an ally-ish. Now it's a demon.
Okay. And this unicorn is going to roll initiative. And it goes after you. So. But yeah, that is your
Beautiful.
rage. You are currently raging.
All right, sweet. So let me attempt to attack this dude. Yeah. Oh, that's a nat 20.
A nat 20? Okay.
Yeah.
What a heck of a first round. Okay, let's do this.
All right. This is where Jaden tries to figure out which die is which. Okay, so it's gonna be okay, so that's 15, and then I have to do the necrotic 1 second.
Okay.
$15 necrotic.
15 necrotic. And that was including your rage damage on the first one?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any special effect that this thing has when you do a critical? Your weapon?
Let me.
I'm not sure it does, but
I'm reading. I'll tell you 1 second. Sorry. Maximum concentration. Oh, hold on. While you're raging, your attacks with this weapon deal an extra 2d6 necrotic damage, which we did, and the target's maximum hit points are decreased in equal amount to the necrotic damage dealt.
okay.
The target's hit point maximum does not return to normal until it finishes a long rest or its grievous wounds are soothed by a greater restoration spell.
Okay.
So, but nothing for crit.
Okay. Good to know.
Mhm.
A solid first hit. That's only your first attack.
Oh, right. I forget I do 2 attacks. Cool. That's another nat 20, and I'm not lying. I can show you if you want.
I believe you. I believe you. That's fucking amazing.
It's the Arashari dice.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Let me do that again. $25 is the initial damage, and then I'll give you the necrotic. Uh, 21 necrotic. I rolled 3 6s on the d6.
Wow.
My dice hate me all the time, so I'm so happy right now.
What was that necrotic damage again?
6, 6, 6, and 3. 18, 19, 20, 21.
21. Oh, crap. A hefty chunk. And reducing the damage, reducing his hit points as you go is wild. The axe just
thing.
connects with him, and while he burns with an unnatural fire, it seems that the necrosis, that god of rot that granted you this weapon, that wellspring of rot, just lives in this axe, and it starts to eat away. Worms and soil begin to spill out of him in the places where you have managed to land this axe blows. Anything else for you, Grief?
I can't move without an opportunity attack, so I'll just. Oh, but I'm gonna be in the.
I will tell you this: you can see the whip he has and how long that is. He has a massive threat range.
Yeah, I just don't want to be taking extra aura damage on top of the being attacked. So if I can move outside of the aura, but not outside of his range per se.
Correct. You can. You can back up 5 feet. That's not a problem.
Can I also kind of come around so I'm flanking with the unicorn?
You would have to come up the stairs here, unless you make an athletics check to climb over.
Oh, okay. Let's just try that. Oh god. That's a 7.
You have advantage because you're raging.
Oh, right. $18.
18. Yeah, you can easily climb over. So yeah, you can get over here. And yeah, you are in flanking position with this unicorn.
And is that outside of his weird fire aura?
Yes, that would be outside the aura.
Thank you. That's all.
All right. Now we have the unicorn in play. The unicorn also has legendary actions. So it is going to use 2 of its legendary actions to cast a shimmering shield over you, Grief, at the end of your turn. So you gain +2 bonus to AC until the unicorn's next turn. Oh, that's not very useful. We'll figure it out. It's not going to do that then, because that would technically its turn is coming. So it is going to use a legendary action just to use hooves then against this thing. So it's going to come here and try and kick it real quick. And the hooves attack is a +7. So, and it has advantage now because you're flanking. That is a 26 to hit for 2d6 +4. That's 5, 9. 9 bludgeoning damage. And the unicorn's hooves are magical. And now it's the unicorn's turn. So it is going to. Unicorn makes 2 attacks, one with its hooves and one with its horn. So more hooves incoming. The unicorn just comes up and like turns around and says, "Yeah, take this," and just starts kicking. That's plenty. That's like 21. So another 2d6 +4. That's not as good. That's 7 damage. And then a horn attack. That is cocked. That's real bad. Does not hit with the horn. You see that this unicorn, like, he's closing his eyes as he's trying to like hit with the horn and like just keeps missing. saying, "Yeah, take that." And yeah, that's the unicorn. So, and is going to, I think, just gonna stay there. So, Grief, I actually need you to roll me 1d8 because that determines how many turns that this creature gets, the unicorn.
4.
4. Okay, so that's turn 1. Okay, Fen, it is your turn.
All right. I mean, first things Fenn's gonna do is gonna stand up.
I say that you'll got the warning. I'll say you are standing up at this point. I'm not gonna make you use half your movement for that.
I had to go and say he's probably not dangerous, didn't I? Didn't I just have to say that? Okay. Can I see him from where I'm at?
Yeah, you can. The tarp is like right in front of where you are. You can move it aside, and you instantly see the 10-foot tall bull-headed creature with massive wings made of fire.
Well, okay. So that's not Dirk anymore. I'm gonna make sure I get into a good angle. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And I'm going to launch a blade at him.
Excellent.
Let's see how this goes. And I mean, I think you said an AC of 19, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna miss. Hang on. The number would be, 17 to hit.
No, 17 does not hit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, Fenn's then gonna go, oh boy. Sorry, still getting the sleep out of my eyes. And pops around this corner here and is going to try to attempt to hide as a bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, sure. That's a good roll. 27.
27. That's plenty. Yeah. Yeah, you are hidden.
Yeah.
Where is it? Hiding. There you go. Fantastic. Is that it for you, Fen?
Yeah, that's gonna be it for Fen as she disappears into the night.
Dirk, whose flesh is forfeit, roars out, and fire just billows out, just rolls off of his skin as he just screams out into this silent night and is going to deal some damage to the unicorn.
At least he's not cold anymore.
Ooh, okay. That is 10 fire damage to the unicorn. But is not super concerned with the unicorn's presence. Turns to you, Grief, and says, "Soon there will only be one master, one force of chaos across all these lands, and you will know its name." And the whip reaches out towards you. It is going to make an attack with the whip. So that is a 19 to hit.
Yep.
Okay.
My AC
So-
is so low.
All right.
I
You
rolled a 13.
take 16 slashing damage. And that's reduced. So
That's half because reach.
Yep, you have that amount. So
So 8.
8, correct. And then you take 15 fire damage. Do you have resistance to fire?
I do not think so. Oh, wait. No, hold on. I might because of... hold on. Sure, that is features and traits. Sorry, I have no idea where that would be. Hellish resistance. Yeah, resistance to fire damage from hellish resistance.
Okay, so that is 15. That's reduced to 7. You are kind of the perfect barbarian for this situation.
Sweet.
And I need you to make a a strength saving throw. You do so with advantage because you are raging.
Sorry. There we go. 19 plus 9.
Oh, that's more than enough. You are not pulled closer to the Balor. You managed to, like, while you did get full on smacked with this whip made of pure fire, it does not manage to wrap around you. You manage to like hold your arms out to prevent it from wrapping you, and you are not pulled in. So this thing is easily just going to start climbing over the wall in order to try and hit you with its sword. It doesn't even need to do that. It has a 10-foot reach on its sword. So I'm just going to put it back. And it is... Oh, it does need a start. Okay. It's going to move slightly closer to you. And it's going to hit you with the sword. (18) plus 14 is a lot, like 32 to hit. Okay. First, you're going to take some slashing damage. 28 slashing damage. That gets reduced to 14. And 13 lightning damage. You fight off the whip. And by the time you can even think of your next move, a sword is coming down on you, seemingly made of lightning from the sky itself. Like it's oozing from the mouth of a volcano. And it strikes you, and you feel every muscle in your body tense up simultaneously.
Fun.
And that is Dirk's turn. So we come now to Torsten.
Hello. So, Torsten's going to move 5, 10... Nope, no. To move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Just kind of circumventing our dear. Eldrick, there you are. Then just make sure I'm measuring this right. Okay, so that's about 60 feet, which puts him in range of Shatter.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually going to, let's see, put it just north of Dirk. That way, 5, 10. Yep, I can pretty handily focus Shatter on this point while getting Dirk and no one else. So a second level shatter is a Constitution saving throw, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. Needs to get a 16 or higher.
With a plus 12, it needs to roll 4 or higher on the die.
Great. I like it.
Rolled a 7. So it manages to save. So it takes half damage.
Sounds right.
Oh, hold on 1 second. This thing has advantage. Got an 8 that time.
Okay. Yep. So takes 10 half to 5.
Okay.
And then will put up his defensive field, get some temp HP, and that's my turn.
Okay. It is Elric's turn. Oh, hold on a second. I forgot to pull up his character sheet, so that's on me. Okay, Elric is going to think hard about his spells. And okay, so Elric, seeing Grief get the brunt of this, is going to cast Shield of Faith on Grief. So you're going to gain +2 AC. And Shield of Faith is a bonus action. So he is going to... Oh, he is not good. Oh, Sacred Flame's fine. Okay, he's going to do Sacred Flame. This thing has advantage on the dexterity saving throw, which it only has +2 on dexterity saving throws. That is a nat 20 on the dex save. So the Sacred Flame does nothing. You're not even sure that this thing even tried to dodge. It's just now clambering up a wall, and the way it's moving just seems to miss the Sacred Flame as Elric shouts out for help from his god. And that is Elric's turn. The unicorn is going to use its last 2 legendary actions to also give Grief another +2 AC. And what Deer says, you can see that on his face that he's stunned, and he says, Dirk? What's happened to Dirk? What's going on?
Can I actually try and explain in this moment, or is it a little too...
Briefly, yes, you can.
He was over here talking to himself, and then he turned into that. I only understood parts of it.
Whittier steadies his arrow, his bow, and he launches more arrows at this thing. And manages to hit on the first one for 1d8 plus 2. No, 1d8 plus 3. For 6 damage. Attack number 2. That's 17 on the die, which should be plenty. So another 1d8. Another 6 damage. That's all he can do. He doesn't know what else to do, so he's just taking a position here, lobbing arrows. Grief, it is your turn.
If I turn into a bear, do I get to add those ups to the AC to the bear's AC or no?
Yes, they
Okay,
all
cool.
stack.
I'm gonna use my action to turn into a bear.
Are you changing into hybrid form or are you changing into a bear?
Like full bear form.
All right. I think we determined that this is a brown bear, so this is basically a polymorph. So, let me
And I
pull
have
that up.
I have the werebear stats and everything, so
Okay. Does it give you what's it give you when you do this?
what do you mean?
Does it give does it say what bonuses it gives, or does it say you just change into a bear?
It's like a stat block.
It's a stat block? Cool. All right.
It's just the werebear stat block.
All right.
So in bear and hybrid form, the AC is 11, so it'll be 15.
You hurt and harmed from this, you begin to scream out, and your voice is replaced by the growl of a bear in a moment. And you are a full-on brown bear.
Rad. It took my whole action to do that, though, so that's really all I got.
Okay. That's something, though.
That's at least a hit point. Cool.
All right. So now it's the unicorn's turn. Yeah, you oh yeah, it's just gonna hooves and horn. That's his whole thing. He's like, don't worry, guys, I got it. It's gonna be fine. First with the horn, that's a 3 on the die. Oh wait, with advantage though. Okay. That's not enough. I don't think that's 18. So, and now come the hooves. 16 plus 7's 20 something. That's enough. So with the hooves, that works. 2d6. 4 plus 4 is 8. All right. That's the unicorn. Fen, it is your turn.
Right. Well, Grief's a bear again. That's fun. Gonna. I probably heard the growl. I guess is really what. So popping around the corner. I'm gonna make sure I don't hit Grief. Toss another blade. Hopefully this time actually making contact. I hope. Here we go. Oh, and I'm in hiding, so I can. That's with advantage, I think, because of my. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Sweet. That's the whole purpose. Aha! Ha ha ha! So that's a 26 to hit.
That's way more than enough.
Yay! Okay. Cool. How do I roll for that? No, sorry. 6. That's 8. Oh, 9. Hang on. Sorry, it's been like a month since we did this.
Truly.
Was not actually expecting to hit a 46 extra damage. Okay, so that was 3 dice. And that's 13. Another 4 makes 17. Plus 5. So it'd be 22 damage.
22 damage. A solid hit.
And in bear form, does it look like Grief is still hurting?
It's very similar to like a druid's polymorph situation. Like there's now like has taken on that HP. So seems fine
Okay.
in this form.
Cool. Then I'm going to
135
use my
hit
bonus
points.
action to hide again. Whee!
Excellent.
And that would be a 24. Let me make sure I'm remembering my stealth. Yep, 24.
24 is more than enough.
And I will say for the because I it's kind of a jerk move to be like, oh yeah, I'm just hiding in the exact same spot. So, for the sake of storytelling, I'm gonna say Fen dodges behind this pillar over here.
Okay. Easy enough. We are, as it comes around to Dirk's turn, he says, "You will all know pain, everlasting." And you hear it crystal clear as a bell in your head. But that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you, everyone who has joined us. Let's go ahead and do our outro. So we'll start with you, Silver.
Hi everyone, I am Silver_Bulette here on Twitch as well as over on YouTube. You can find more of my work if you look for a couple of different podcasts. Capes and Caverns is one of them. That's our most recent podcast. It is a TTRPG actual play podcast where we're testing out the rules of Capes and Caverns, which is a superhero overlay over the 2014 Dungeons and Dragons rules. It's a lot of fun. I hope others are enjoying it as well, but come check it out. You can find it where most podcasts are found. Also, All the Web's a Stage, which is a show that I hope to get back on its feet, is one that I host, which is a short play podcast. And I bring on friends, we write short plays, and we challenge each other to perform the show in one take, more or less. But yeah, that's me.
Right, Levi.
Hello, I am Levi. Like the jeans on Blue Sky without hyphens, and like the jeans on itch.io with hyphens. You can find me mostly here as far as public facing stuff goes. I am also out and about on various Twitch chats. And you can also find me hyping other people up in various Discord servers all throughout the tabletop sphere. Thank you.
Jaden.
Hey friends, I am Soliloquy Jaden. You can find me everywhere online as FatSapphicBro. I mostly hang out on TikTok for as long as we have it and make a variety of content. But again, I'm everywhere as FatSapphicBro. Feel free to find me. I've also started streaming Animal Crossing New Horizons here on Twitch and then uploaded to YouTube. Also under the username FatSapphicBro. Haven't done it in a little bit, but I'm hoping to get back to it soon. As for TTRPG actual play streaming, the details are in the announcements, but for a brief overview, I'm here on Twitch most Sundays, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., most Mondays, 6 to 9 p.m., most Tuesdays, 6 to 9 p.m., all Pacific time, not the last 7 days of each month. Thanks, friends.
And I'm Archangelic. You can find me here at all the times Soliloquy said in the announcements. You can also find many links for me on my website, archangelic.space. I am doing professional GMing on startplaying.games. In fact, I have a high-level D&D campaign that is set to do at Session 0 this coming Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific. If you're interested in that, the link is on archangelic.space, but you can also book me at startplaying.games/GM/archangelic. If you've missed any of our games, you can check them out on YouTube. The link is in our link tree, and it's also in the channel description. We also have a podcast version of this game. It's a little bit behind because I'm running behind on editing. I'm a full-time student while I'm doing this, so forgive me. You can search up Era of the Dragons wherever you find podcasts. We are going to be going into our Patreon supported after show shortly. You can find those at patreon.com/lanternlightadventures. The after show will always be free, but your support would mean the world to us. Thanks to these wonderful players for being here and fighting an old man. Thank you to our wonderful audience and all the raiders who joined us today. Lastly, thank you to our producer, Polygeist, for helping us stream this show. We all appreciate you, and we couldn't do it without you. And with that, folks, as always, we love you and we hope to see you next time. Good night, everyone.